Barakatah YAHAWAH, BaHa YAHAWASHI, BaHa RAWCHAA QADASH. Welcome to another live lesson. Before I get started with the title and all that, just want to say THAWADAH to you brothers out there and sisters, for all the prayers, that you put up for us. We really appreciate it, So I just want to make an honorable mention, and an appreciation, for your diligence, hard work, prayers, so on and so forth. I just want to say THAWADAH for that. And before we get into the lesson itself, which is a continuation from the other lessons I've been doing through the Spirit, I wanted to do a lesson on the topic that the apostles been touching on, beginning with Elder Apostle R, dealing with the Most High's name, and Elder Apostle Gabar, dealing with the Most High's name. I watched half of Elder Apostle Gabar's video so far, so Lord's will, I want to finish that up and go into a lesson dealing with that, as a response, or as a added, a lamb back to those lessons, but I got this lesson ready, in the Spirit, so I just want to go into this instead, and Lord's will, if the Spirit allows, I'll go into it, and Lord's will, it'll be edifying as well as this lesson. This is Who Are the E's, the Cursed People, the Deception. There has been a great deception that has gripped the face of the world, and this deception has been in work since what they call the Renaissance period. And when you peel back the veil and you start to really look into and scrutinize the images, the teachings of this Renaissance Christianity, you actually read the Bible, you actually start to get a different picture from the Bible than you get on the world scene. And that is because the people that have taken over the world pretty much have put a shrouded veil over the minds of the people. Now there's a saying by a French philosopher named Voltaire that history is the lie commonly agreed upon. And pretty much what you see in the world today is the lie that was commonly agreed upon once these Edomites took over the world. And of course, you're not going to conquer a place, become the king of that place, and then have the conquered people's faces as the gods and rulers, and important people. So what you would have to do is you would have to go and erase that and put your face over it. Matter of fact, let's get that one real quick. Let's go to, before I read let's go to First Maccabees, which just happened back then during the Greek Empire, and it's happening now also. First Maccabees 3:48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. So this is nothing new, but we're just in the time of the great deception, because back then our people we knew who we were. We knew who the scriptures pertain to. We knew that the scriptures are only for the nation of Israel. We knew that it wasn't for any other nation. We knew that the Most High and Yahawashi, the angels, Moses, Abraham, Isaac, the patriarchs, the 12 tribes, great men like, King Saul was a great king at one point. King David, King Solomon, and others were all so-called brown people. I say brown people because there's no such thing as black people. That's just a stigma that was put upon the tribe of Judah by, I forget who the name of the individual was. I believe it was a woman back in 18 something. I can't really remember the date, 1861 or something like that. Elder Malcolm brought that out of Chicago. So there's been this great deception played out on the planet Earth. So they're not going to put, see, our people knew that back then. So there was no way for them to be deceived into thinking that these Edomites were the Most High and YAHAWASHI and the Israelites. And they weren't trying to do that. The only crop of individuals back then that were claiming our heritage, our nationality, you know, were the Edomites, because they were forcibly converted by John Hyrcanus the first, who forcibly converted them, and Antipater, which was the father of Herod and the rest of the Herodian dynasty, he was a part of that whole sway. You know, he was a descendant or through that whole thing. And then later on, he got into prominent positions and trained up his children and set them up in prominent positions. And once the last Hasmonean ruler, king priest, was destroyed, I believe that was Antigonus, if I'm not mistaken, or something along those lines. I forget his name. It's been a while since I went into that history. I believe he was the second or something like that. He was put to death, I believe, by Herod or by the Romans. I can't remember the exact history. Then that's when they put Herod, the Romans put Herod up in there to be the king of Israel. You know? And ever since then, that's why the Apostle Paul said that the mystery of iniquity doth already work. You know? So they've been deceiving the world. Now, I have this book, which is hard to find. It's a small book. It's called The Protocols of the Learned, I say it that way, Elders of Zion. I'll say it that way, you know, trying to throw the algae off, you know, because them rhythm algae are terrible, man. Now, when you go to protocol number 16 and paragraph number 4, the caption says, "We shall change history." It says, "Classicism also as also any form of study of ancient history, in which there are more bad than good examples," meaning bad and good examples of them, or bad examples of them, "we shall replace with the study of the program of the future." And what do you think that entails? That entails them being put into a good light and all of the bad light to be extinguished by deception. It says, "We shall erase from the memory of men all facts of previous centuries which are undesirable to us, and leave only those which depict all the errors of the government of the Goyim." All right, and that's pretty much the main point. So that's what the devil has been doing, and he's been hard at work doing this since the Renaissance period. And they managed to infiltrate Christianity, which even back then, during that time period, Christianity was off, because they were teaching certain things that were off, you know, but they revamped it, you know. And this is what you have today, this Renaissance Christianity that's prevalent in the world, with which they use to pretty much deceive the world. So we look up the word deception. It says the action of deceiving someone, a thing that deceives, and that's Esau to a T. We go to Job 9:24, and it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So the possession, because when you give something to someone, it's their possession, of the earth is in the hand of the wicked. And when we examine the wicked And we examine the condition of the earth. We examine the people of the earth. We examine the mental state of the world. The world is in what? It's in mourning. It's in chaos. It's in ruin. People are not going to rise up and people are not going to rise up and protest their government and their policies if it's a righteous government. You know, because the scriptures say, as a governor or the king of a people is, so are the people, so are his subjects. And this is why we know that this place is wicked, because what they're pushing is a total demonic agenda, to where they're trying to replace the Most High, Yahawah. They're trying to replace his son, YAHAWASHI, with themselves. And this is nothing new. Ptolemy the first did it, with Ptolemy the second, his son. You know, you hear Elder Apostle Gabar go into that history a lot with Serapis, which was a composite god, you know. And they're pushing that right now, to where they'll become the replacement of the Most High. This is why they're altering the Most High's creation, the body. The body is a hell of an instrument. It is dynamite. It is the most perfect thing, you know, that could have been created. The only thing is that the rest of the upgrade hasn't been upgraded yet. You see? Because the body is perfect, but it falls apart because of the lack of nutrients, pollution, so on and so forth. You see? But the way that it's created, the dynamics of it, and the workings of it, it's perfection if it has all of the right ingredients put into it. You see? So Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Right. And we know that the state of the world is not in a rejoicing type of state. Oh, sure, you have people that have cookouts, they have gatherings, they go to parks, you know, they have outings, they travel, you know, they vacation, they do certain things, they listen to music, they drink, they do many things to rejoice. But as a whole, they're not really rejoicing. It says, why? Because the wicked are in power. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And that's what's happening right now. The people are mourning because the people that are in charge, they're putting a straight up heavy oppressive spirit on the people. And that oppression starts really with finance, with the economy. And that's why when you read, or when we go back and read Isaiah chapter 14, right, we use this scripture for, you know, to say that America is a golden city, which it is. It is the beacon of the world, Isaiah 14:4. But there's also more to it. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressors ceased? The golden city ceased. Now, when you look up this term, golden city ceased, it's talking about an exactor of gold. Or you could use it today, in today's term, an exactor of money, an exactor of these FRNs, pretty much putting different types of taxes on the people, that just the tax itself is above the living means of the populace. And that's why in Job, the 20th chapter, it speaks about every hand of the wicked coming against him, meaning the laborers, the toilers, the ones that are suffering underneath this tyrannical system. And when we look up this term golden city, right, the word there is madahaba, which goes back to the word dahab, but then you also have the word zahab, which means gold. It says boisterous, raging behavior, boisterous behavior, golden city, which is a beacon to the world, but also exactress of gold. Now, when you exact something from someone, you're demanding it from them. You know, exact, not approximate in any way, precise, demand and obtain something, especially a payment from someone, right? And in most cases, what? At the threat of, if you don't give us this, we're going to take your home, we're going to take your car, we're going to put you in jail, so on and so forth. So this is the exactress of gold. See, and it doesn't necessarily have to be gold. The so-called, even though it's of no value, but it does have value because of the belief of the people, these FRNs, Federal Reserve Notes, these dollar bills that you have in your pocket, in your bank account or whatever the case may be. And why do you think out there in China they're doing what they're doing? People are doing runs on the bank, or they're trying to get their savings out and they can't. They got tanks out there. This is going to be a worldwide event because the final hour of temptation is going to be a financial one. And that financial one is going to come through the ability to buy and to sell. And that ability to buy and to sell is going to be determined by the system that's in place, whereby you will be able to purchase things. And that system that they're setting up is a digital system, to where you'll have the MOTB, which is a CHIP, and that will be the way or the means of exchange for you to be able to eat, to live, to pay your bills, to go to the doctor, to go whatever. You want to go to the movies, you got to have the CHIP. You want to go on vacation, you got to have the CHIP. You want to get on the public transportation, you got to have the CHIP. You want a job, you got to have the CHIP. You want benefits, you got to have the CHIP. It's all covered in that. So that's causing an oppressive state to the world. You see? So this is the exactress of gold. So in this case, when the Lord gave this vision to Isaiah, this was the demise of this system. And this is what's going to bring this demise. That's why it says when they are about to fill their belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon them. So when we go back to Job chapter 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. They have control and sway and power over it. They have a godlike power, as it tells us in Micah 2:1, over the world, to create policies, to end world hunger, to have everybody live on equal balance. And even if not on equal balance, everybody to live comfortably, decent. They have the means, but they're not going to do that because they are the wicked. So it goes on to say, he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. Who are the main judges? The Most High, YAHAWASHI, the angels, the nation of Israel. So how is he covering their faces? By putting his face in the place of the Most High, YAHAWASHI, the angels, and the Israelites. Then it goes on to say, if not, if these Edomites, these so-called white people, didn't do this, where are they? And who is he? And who is he? Who did that? You Edomites did that, okay? Inside joke. Now we look up the word covereth, right? Building on that, because we're building with the deception. And the word there is kasah. To cover, conceal, hide. And they have covered and concealed everything. We just read in the protocols that they were going to hide from history anything that made them or put them in a bad light. That's when you try to connect the Khazars back to the Herods and the Edomites, you can't. There's a part in history where, from the 5th century AD, around there or so, back to the time of Herod, and then when they lost their position as and their kingship in Israel, you can't find the connection. Because if you were able to find that connection, you would say, okay, see, they went from there to these people, and then these people right now, we know that those people today make up, I believe they say like 95% of Western small hats, Amalekites, which, Eustace Mullins, the historian, which he passed away years ago, called Turco-Edomites, because that's exactly who they are. So to conceal, cover. All right, so this is what they did. They covered the faces of the judges thereof. You have a term called iconoclasm. When you look up the term iconoclasm or iconoclast, you know, the word icon means image and clasm means to destroy. The action of attacking or assertively rejecting cherished beliefs and institutions or established values and practices. That's one way. The rejection or destruction of religious images as heretical, the doctrine of iconoclast, right? So they're using the scriptures in the book of Deuteronomy 7 to where it says if you make any of these images, you're supposed to burn them, destroy them, break them down. And that's what they're trying to use. Because remember, these devils know the scriptures. They're trying to use that and say, well, you know, this is heresies. A black God, a black Jesus, black Israelite, this is heresies. Let's get rid of it. Strike them from the records, you know? And don't forget to strike all the bad shit we did too. The doctrine of iconoclast. So it was a doctrine that they had where they went around all of Europe and defaced the different images. You know, they weren't able to get to all of them, but they got to a good portion of them. You had Dura Europa, which when you type in Dura Europa, Moses, matter of fact, let's type that in. Let's go to the, let me see. Let's go to Dura Europa. Europus. Let's put in Moses and Aaron. Let's go to images. And what do you have here? You have images of Moses and Aaron as what? As brown skinned men. Look at that. I'm not sure which one is Moses or which one is Aaron. I thought this was Moses and this was Aaron, but some say this is Moses and this is Aaron. But look at the afros. Look at, especially like I said, I'm not sure if this is Moses or Aaron. Especially him. Look at him. That's an afro. That's a wide nose. Look at the eyes. That's Jake eyes, man. And look at like I said, I don't know if this is Aaron or Moses, but look at the afro. You know? And then you have what over here? This is the Egyptian army that got drowned. And look what they look like. Brown-skinned people. Ruddy. So you could understand. All right? So they covered that up. That's what they did. So when we go to Ezekiel 28:3, it says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. So with this revelation and this newfound power that they received, they were able to deceive the whole world. You see? Because if you control the world, you can control what the world believes. That's why Voltaire, the French philosopher, said, history is the lie commonly agreed upon. The people that are in power, that's a beautiful precept, I'm gonna bring this one out. The people that are in power are the ones making the policies. And you damn well better believe that they're not going to put themselves in a bad light. They're going to play the top position. And they're going to make everybody else play beneath them. 2nd Ezra 6:28, which is scriptural. Deuteronomy 28. You know, he shall be the head, thou shalt be the tail. 2nd Ezra 6:28, as for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And what's happening now that it's being declared, they're getting nervous. So when we go back here, let's go down. Matter of fact, with thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. You see? And this is how they built up the world. This is how they got this. What do you think they dig up stuff to see if what the scriptures are saying is true? They got all kind of information. They got relics and bones, and they know beyond a shadow of a doubt. If they don't believe it biblically, but they believe it tangibly, visibly, because they've actually dug these things up. They've seen these things. It says, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. That's why it says, woe unto you, rich men. So now when we look up this word traffic, because this is the land of traffic, the word there is RAWCHAA. RAWCHAA. Merchandise, traffic, trade, because this is the greatest place of trade. And this is how these devils became rich. One way was they would lend money to different kings, monarchs, but the main way they made their money, which I had forgot about, Elder Pastor had asked us, and we got it wrong. And the main way that they got their riches was through the England stock exchange, the British stock exchange. And there was a war between England and France. Wellington was I believe he was the general for, the leading general for England, and then Napoleon was the leading general or ruler for France. And there was a battle at Waterloo where Napoleon lost, England won. The message got back to Rothschild that England won. So to create a panic, he started selling his stocks. But behind the scenes, secretly, some of his other agents were buying that stock back. And what was happening was, when the other investors saw that he was selling, they got nervous. They said, well, he must have got word that Wellington lost. Wellington lost. Everybody started selling their stuff, so he would set up his men to go and buy up all of those stocks very cheap, as far as buying his stuff. So he caused this great panic, and that's another way they amassed a great wealth, the greatest part of their wealth that way. You see? So it was what? Straight up deception. So they got that through what? Through merchandise, traffic, trade. And with them funds, they've been deceiving the whole world. That's why you have these flunkies like Vocab Malone and others that they set up, to deceive and to bring back Jake, that has woken up to the truth, back into the slave mentality of that Renaissance Christianity. Let's go. All right. Ezekiel 28:13. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of the Most High. And this is how we know this is talking about Esau. Because when we go to Revelation, we're going to go to Lord's will later on. Revelation 20, we're just going to go straight to the point. And 2, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent. See, because you have been in the garden. You are that serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. And when you look up the term serpent, right, it should say it. Serpent, a large snake, a sly or treacherous person, especially one who exploits a position of trust in order to betray it. This fits perfectly to Esau. See? This fits perfectly with them. Because it goes back to what? To that old serpent in the garden. And that's how we know that this great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns is not talking about the spiritual demon Satan and his angels. It's talking about the Edomites. They're different empires that have ruled on the earth, and their armies, pretty much. So it says, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. So going back to Ezekiel, it says, every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, the topaz, and the diamonds, and beryls, and onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets, of thy pipes, was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created. And another way you know that that's talking about these devils today, which went back all the way back to, oops, I don't want to get rid of that. Went back all the way to when they were the descendants of Cain. You go back to Genesis, the 4th chapter, and the 21st verse, and it says, and his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. You see? So this is why they say that Lucifer was the most beautifulest angel, and he was created with musical instruments in him. No. They've used these musical instruments because they know that certain frequencies alter the mind state of people. Then they know that there's certain frequencies that help calm, bring peace, serenity to people. They don't want that. That's why you have music played at different hertz. They're not played at the proper hertz, because if they were played at the proper hertz, it would be soothing, calming, not, making people wild, making people, commit crimes, commit suicide. You see? So they notice. These devils notice. So, and the name Jubal, I believe, I forgot what it meant. I just looked it up a little while ago. YAHWAH, which goes back to the word Yabal, stream. All right, stream. To bring forth, to carry, bring forth, lead forth. All right, so going back to Ezekiel, this is the main point here. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth. So you were chosen to do these things. You didn't do it of your own self. You were chosen to do these things. I know that's Isaiah 10:15. Shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth therewith, or shall the saw magnify itself against him that shaketh it? Right. When the saw is in the cutting down trees and branches and all that, is that saw say, man, you see how I tore that down? You see how I cut that tree down? And ain't no saw out here as sharp as me. No. It wasn't the saw itself. It was the skill of the person wielding that saw to cut down that particular, tree or branch or whatever the case is. As if the rod should shake itself against them that lift it up, right? Because the saw can't jump up and lift itself. The saw is a good instrument. It's very powerful, but it's only as powerful as the person that's wielding it. So the Most High is wielding you. You are the sword of the Lord. He is the one that's causing you to do the things that you do, not yourself. It says, or as if the staff should lift up itself as if it were no wood, because that's all you are. You're nothing but clay. And you are subjected to Yahawah B'Shem Yahawashi. So it says, thou art the anointed cherub that covereth. Anointed is mashach, which goes back to the word mashach or mashayach. You have the word mashach there, which is anointed, expansion, meaning uncertain. No, it's not. You just said it meant anointed. So it says, so it's anointed, or to anoint. Let's go to anoint. The word anoint, smear or rub with oil, typically as part of a religious ceremony. Smear or rub with something, any other substance, ceremonially confer divine or holy office upon, see, a priest or monarch, by smearing or rubbing with oil. Right, so you've been chosen to be this cherub, which the word cherub means mighty one. It could be applied to the angels, or it could just be applied to someone that's mighty. In this case, Esau, who will lead me into the strong city. So you are the anointed cherub, or the anointed mighty one, or the chosen mighty one, that what? That covereth. Because you were set up to do the covering. The word there is sakak, which means to hedge, fence about, shut in. And that's what you do. You shut in. You shut in things, you shut out things. There's a term called gatekeepers, right? Let's see if that'll come up. And these are the door holders, or of Esau, the ones that wait in at the gate, the ones that let in and let out, because he's trying to be like the Most High. He's trying to be like YAHAWASHI. YAHAWASHI said he has the key of David. He opens and no man can shut. He shuts and no man can open. So Esau, what he's doing is on the left hand side is mimicking the Most High and YAHAWASHI. So he's got the key to that demonic illuminating light, which is darkness, and he lets in what he wants and he pushes out what he doesn't want. Gatekeeper, an attendant at a gate who is employed to control who goes through it. A person or thing that controls access to something. See? In this case, what? Access to the truth of what's really going on. So what's really going on? It says to block, overshadow, screen, stop the approach, shut off, cover. You get the idea. So going back, you are the chosen mighty one that covers. And you've covered up the whole world with your lies. Because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Now, let's go real quick to Isaiah chapter 60. And verse 1 and 2. Arise, shine, for thy light is come. This is the Lord speaking through the mouth of Isaiah to the elect of the nation of Israel to arise, because the true light is come. Which is what? YAHAWASHI. And the glory of Yahweh, Ba'ashem YAHAWASHI, is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. And that's being done. Why? We're going to go to that, but let's go back. I want to get this real quick. Let me bring this up here. Excuse me. So it says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. Look up the word darkness is chashak. Chashak. Darkness, obscurity. Darkness, secret place. And this is what they're doing. This is the I need another. You know what? Let's go real quick to Psalm 64. This is why King David said this. For the future. Hear my voice, O Most High. Psalm 64:1. Hear my voice, O Most High, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. And when you start to really look and understand what the plans of Esau are for the future and for humanity, you like, my goodness, man, the Lord has to come and get us. Because this devil is he's a monster. He's a monster. I know the scriptures say that, the Lord created the waster to destroy, that's dealing with the missiles, but he's also the waster to destroy. Because even Oppenheimer said that. I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. And they know this. They know this. You best better believe they know this. They know that they're the destroyers of the earth, the destroyers of the world. That's why that book was written by Alice Bailey, I believe her name was. Something of the hierarchy. And in there, pretty much he was saying that the missiles are pretty much used to scare the people into acceptance of the New World Order. So the people would be so tired of war and woes and, social unrest and all that, and deaths and all that, that they would be willing to all come under the banner of the New World Order for the sake of so-called peace. You know, as we speak right now, there's a video circulating where they're supposed to be having a something, you know, I'll just say it like this, there's a secret thing going on, training in the NY to the C, where you have these soldiers doing certain types of training in the night. No light, no flashlight, no lights from truck, nothing. And they're preparing for something. They're preparing for that, you know, that the waster to destroy. I'll say it that way, you know, to throw the rhythm algae off. You know, so they're preparing for the waster to destroy and NY to the C. All right, it says, hide me from what? The secret counsel of the wicked. Anything secret in this world can't be good. You know, as far as, you know, when wickedness is concerned, because you could have secrets that are good, but this secret it's no good. It's no good. It's no good. It's a part of that. It's a part of the Salaki, the thought just escaped. So it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Let's just look up this word secret, or is it secret? Secret counsel. The word is sawad, which I believe that's secret. Council, council assembly, council of familiar conversation. And what does this lead to? Council of familiar conversation. It leads to conspiracy. Diving. Oh, divan. A long low sofa without a back or arms, typically placed against the wall. A legislative body, council chamber, or court of justice in the Ottoman Empire or elsewhere in the Middle East. You know, so you have a legislative body or council chamber. So that's what what you say, divan. Get in divan. That's what get in divan means. Circle of familiar friends, see? Conspiracy, assembly, company. Secret council. Familiar converse, intimacy with the Most High, right? With the Most High reveals the secret unto his servants, the prophets. So he's intimate with the prophets, and that's why they received the visions from the Lord and the secrets, including his name and his son's name. So going back, so King David said, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, because they're planning a great insurrection. And this is all a part of the deception too. Because at first, the MO to the TB is going to be voluntary, and afterwards mandatory when they get a certain amount of people with the C hip in them. Throng in company, throng scheming. Yeah, they scheming like that rat in the corner. Insurrection, which is a rising up or rising from within. And that's what the scriptures say, that there's going to be a great insurrection upon those that fear the Most High, Yahawah Bashem YAHAWASHI. So Jake is going to catch it really bad from these devils. You know, that time of Jacob's trouble. So that's pretty much it on that. Going back. So it says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. When something is in gross darkness, it's completely submerged or covered. Irapal, which goes back to the word irap. Cloud, heavy or dark cloud, darkness, gross darkness, thick darkness, right? Even when you go to war, what happens? They say, give me some cover fire, or give me some smoke or something along those lines. And they'll throw a canister so that a sniper or those shooting can't see them. So Esau has a dust cloud of smoke, a smoke and mirrors act going on, where he's pulling the wool over people's eyes. You know, but the Lord shall arise upon thee, upon the elect, and his glory shall be seen upon thee, right? And that's why we'll be able to, Lord's will we be the elect, be able to maneuver through this maze, this hazy maze. Isaiah 25:7, and he will destroy in this mountain, meaning the Most High is going to destroy in this mountain, meaning America, the government of America, the face of the covering cast over all people. So where did the revealing of who the Edomites are, the devils are, their plans, who the Israelites are, the mysteries of the Bible, where did that come from? That came from America, and specifically New York, specifically Harlem. I'm going to read this real quick. 2 Corinthians 2:11, least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Right, because the elect will have the eyes open. So this destroying of the covering that was cast over the people is starting to be destroyed, or was started to be destroyed here in America, Harlem to be precise. What these devils call one Westers, through the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi, through the Holy Spirit, RAWCHAA QADASH, from what the Hebrew Israelites are teaching. And that's where the deception started to be, or the veil started to be ripped down. But even in that, you still have jakes out there that don't get it, because they're caught up in that cast over, or that covering. They're caught up in that veil. And we're going to come back to this. That's why it says here, 2 Corinthians 4:3, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. And why are they lost? Because the Most High did not give them the eye salve to see. And also, from just a quick glance at the Greek word, apolumi, that goes back to destruction. Son of perdition. See, because the word perdition means lost. It means destruction, but it means lost. In Spanish, perder. When you say está perdido, means he's lost. Perder means to lose. So apolumi, to destroy. See, to put out of the way, entirely abolish, put an end to ruin. Right. So if our gospel we hid, it is hid to them that are to be destroyed, to them that are lost, to them that are the sons of perdition, that will not make it, that are not a part of the elect. That's why they can't see it. King David put a curse on Jake. Let their eyes be darkened that they cannot see. You know, let them bend their back, always something along those lines. Let them not come into thy righteousness. And that's why you have a particular angel to blind Jake. And I was listening to that with Alexander Skirby. You know, we like listening to his version because, you know, he goes in and he does like the different, you know, he captures the moment when he reads the scriptures. But in this particular one, he was off, because when the Lord said, who shall I send? The angel said, send me. He said, whom shall I send? He said, here am I, send me. Like if the angel was oh boy, here we go again. Yeah, Lord, just send me. I know nobody else wants to do it. Just send me. No, the angels are glad and happy to do the Most High's will. So in that one, he was wrong, I must say. But for the most part, he's, you know, he goes in. You know, when you listen to the scriptures, when he's speaking, it gets you hyped up. It gets you in the moment, and you get a feel, you know, for what's being said. And so it says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world. Who's the God of this world? Esau. Because it's not talking about God as the Most High, even though the Most High is controlling it. Even in the word there is theos, which is the same word that's used for the Most High, theos. But theos means a god or goddess. No, that's fake. A general name of deities or divinities. It says, yeah, you could apply Michael, the archangel, and the rest of the angels. It says the Godhead. There's no such thing as a Trinity in the scriptures. God the Father, the first, no, forget about the Trinity. So it is speaking about the Most High, the Father, but this part over here, forget about. It is speaking about YAHAWASHI, but that part, forget about it. It could be speaking about the Holy Spirit, and this part, forget about it. Spoken of the only and true power, refers to the things of the Most High, his counsels, interests, things due to him, whatever can in any respect be likened unto the Most High or resemble him in any way. God's representative or vice regent, right? You have people on the earth like the prophets that are representatives, heralds, vice regents of the Most High. And the last one here, of magistrates and judges. So that's who the God of this world is. The magistrates and the judges. So the God of this world, matter of fact, it just brought to mind the other precept. Right? So it says, in whom the God of this world, Esau, hath blinded. So going back to what? Gross darkness of people. That veil that was put to cover. It says, the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Yahawashi, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. Right? Because if that light shines in Jake's mind and they understand and it stays and they perceive it and they believe it and it stays there, it will guide them into righteousness, therefore recovering themselves from the grip of the devil. I'm not sure what that scripture is. Somewhere in the New Testament. Spare me a second. Woo, here we go. Brakate, how about you, 2 Timothy 2. 2 Timothy 2 and 26. Let's go there. (2 and 25). In meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves with what? With the gospel. This devil vocab talking about we don't teach the gospel. All we do is teach the gospel. But we don't teach the gospel according to the world view of Renaissance Christianity. That we do not do. Because that is not the right way. That is the deception. That's another gospel. That's another Jesus. We teach the gospel of truth. If the Most High peradventure will give them repentance, because it begins with repentance, acknowledgement, to the acknowledging of the truth, which is the true light, Yahawashi, and that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil. Through what? Through the light. Who are taken captive by him at his will. So Esau has a certain amount of captives that the Lord allowed him to get into that net. That's why it says that they wandered after the beast, whose names were not written, in the Lamb's Book of Life, something along those lines. No, it's 65. Yeah, that's it. Right here. Isaiah 65 and 12. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, you did not answer. When I spake, you did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Right. So going back. So it says, in whom the God of this world had blinded the minds of them which believe not. Going to Ephesians 6 and 12, it says, For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers. Yeah, we wrestle in all different kind of demons. On all levels. Against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Right, and the rulers of the darkness of this world, which is Cosmocrators. Cosmocrator. Which Cosmos is rule. I'm sorry, Krator is rule, and Cosmos is an organization. And this organization are the illuminated ones. The ones with the light of deception, the light of death. Alright? It says, Lord of the world, prince of this age, the devil and his demons, which is really true. This is true. But it's also dealing with Esau, because they consult with demons. They consult with devils. The movie The Ninth Gate brings that out. Shows you that. You know? So that's how they doing it. This is how they brought that great deception. I was going to go a little longer, but, you know, I wanted to read 2 Thessalonians, but just for the interest of time, let's go to Revelation 20:7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, that's the Edomites, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. And that's what they've done. They brought a great deception to the world. And when you read 2 Thessalonians, it tells you that they made the world, they oppose everything that's called the Most High, but they put themselves up in the place of the Most High. And they even said, I will be like the Most High. That's why they changed the Most High's machinery, which is the human body. So with that, you know, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.